What do you think CMOs want versus what
I think probably
what they need?
longevity, because they're turning over every two years or
The
so.
surveys of CMOs have switched to more.
Well, I'm doing a panel at Cannes at the end of June, and we've got Mark Pritchard from P&G, Mary Beth West from Kraft, CMO of McDonald's, and Nigel Gilbert from Lloyd's TSB.
Sure.
And well, it's one of the questions I'm going to ask them. I think Rand is. Listen, they want tremendous insight, and they want tremendous creativity, and they want distribution of those ideas throughout their organizations, if they're national, regional, worldwide. Mm-hmm. And I think they do want people who understand the technology. I mean, on the technology side, I think they tend to be horrified by the lack of understanding.
Exactly.
And as I said in there, you're not going to be fired if you invest in these areas. I think they want good strategic thinking. They want good creative execution, or not good. They want excellent strategic thinking, excellent creative execution, excellent distribution through helping them distribute it through their organization and making sure that it's implemented effectively. And now with new technology, they want people who understand. Not the software engineers, but people who understand the implications of what's going on.
Exactly.
We're going to see some interesting developments in search. So, if people are coming out with new products in search or new twists in it, what does this mean for their business? How can they do it better?
Good. So as they're looking to the future, do you think they need agencies more like Enfatico or more like some of the?
Well, you
mentioned that the industry has changed, and some holding companies are moving toward that change. Others are still have the traditional agency models.
We call ourselves a parent company, which is a subtle distinction, maybe to some, but I think it's important, but meaningful.
Important.
But Enfatico gets a lot of criticism, has got, and I think because it challenged the status quo. I mean, I think what we were trying to do with Enfatico was to change the model. I do think that Enfatico is the model that will succeed.
More holistic, do it all together, reduce all of the.
I mean, what is Enfatico? At the end of the day, what it is a client, in this case Dell, said, we want an organization built for purpose.
Around us.
Built, in other words, not something that was built for other people. It's a bit like media, content.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me a content idea which is tailored to my objectives. I mean, I used to work for Mark McCormack, and we spent years, when Mark was alive, sadly, he died a few years ago.
Right.
But we I always used to say, Mark, because we were all both frustrated that we could never do anything. The talk to do ratio was incredible.
Talk to do,
right?
Exactly. I've been in the middle of that.
Yeah, right. And we never got anything done. And we always used to say, why? And I used to say, our people used to say, well, it's because nothing's tailored specifically. So tailoring something specifically. So Enfatico was about tailoring specifically. A lot of people, didn't want to see it succeed, don't want to see it succeed. In the future, they'll want to see it nixed. I find that extraordinary, because our industry is going through radical change, and we have to change the structures. And I think it's a really interesting question. I think clients don't worry about agency brands. They worry about, what do CMOs want? They want the best people working on their business.
Exactly.
They don't care where it comes from. Even outside the parent company, even outside the holding company.
It seems like they need a keiretsu of people and technologies and
but well
capabilities
organized.
that they can tap. But how do you scale the?
Listen,
it seems like it's hard to scale that model where it's all built around me.
Look, here's an interesting thing. One of our clients, won't say which, in 2 countries, has built an agency. They've actually gone into the agency business.
Wow.
They're actually effectively, in a sense, a competitor. What they've done is,
maybe we should hire them for a couple of deals.
They have hired in 1 market, in 2 markets, to my knowledge. They have hired some of our agencies along with competitor agencies. They then go out and hire the managing director, and they lease the building.
That's actually a neat model.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right?
And then, so they're kind of like the agency of agencies.
They're building an Enfatico.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
so
for
we've
all
got the cloud for the internet. Now we've got one for agencies.
Absolutely.
That's actually
But
and then you can tap different resources, but have some control.
well, they're saying they can control that process more effectively than the agency. I mean, now, if ever that was a wake-up call for us, it was that.
And
So we better get to do it better and faster and more efficiently.
make it scalable.
Now, they say that client says, well, look, the rate of overhead for them to do that is much lower than they get the agency. I don't think that's so, because they don't cost in their overhead for running the thing,
They're already working there, sure.
which would make the difference. But when you think about it, so this is a client that's hiring somebody
Mm-hmm.
from outside, who then manages, let's say there are 6 agencies that are working on this particular piece of business, and then actually leases the building,
Mhm.
puts them in the building. So client owns the building.
And makes them all come together,
Uh-huh.
physically too.
Uh-huh.
So that's interesting, because you have the best of both worlds, because many brag about, well, we took it from 12 agencies down to 1, and sometimes, you know, you lose creativity in that process. Is
Well,
that,
yeah, but
or not?
you know what happens in most of these situations, the status quo is preserved. So there are existing relationships, there are existing preferences. They may be relationships or preferences over a geography or over a function. And what happens in a lot of these consolidations is there's a compromise.
Mhm.
It isn't like Dell. I mean, Dell were very brave. They said, "Look, build me something special."
I heard
They
they were
said-
at 100 and some odd agencies.
They had more than that. They had I think about 800 at the time.
You know, 800 and something.
But you know, the centre
Amazing.
never knows how many agencies are, because
It's too distributed.
the locales will never tell you.
Exactly.
You know, because there are things. I mean, no, there are. I mean, I was talking to I won't say which client, but one client who you would think was very centralised had 2,500 agencies around the world.
Yeah.
And you know, there are these pockets of budget. Now, you wouldn't want to control all of them from the centre anyway, but
Yeah.
there are
Sometimes
there
the
is
product
scope.
managers need to do their own thing.
There is
and-
scope. Yeah.
Great.
Very
Thank you.
good. Thank
Appreciate
you.
you coming.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you,
Thanks.
Charlie.
Continue this off camera.